Howdy all of you delicious people, you are seeing a very rare opportunity. I say rare because ultimately dare say YouTube, for bizarre reasons, I couldn't figure out how to download this video onto my secondary channel, which ultimately I don't know if it's going to be a temporary thing, so I should just say whatever the channel this video is on now. And so ultimately, I couldn't figure out how to download this video, so ultimately I just am basically as much as possible just re-watching this entire video. Sometimes I might chime in, sometimes I might just kind of work through my own video. So first off, let's tell everybody that ultimately these people that had sung on this episode, Season 2, Episode 2, ultimately had also sang on Season 2, Episode 1. So ultimately, really, when it comes down to it, we're just going to kind of not spoil anything for anyone via the last episode. So ultimately, right now, we're just going to go through and just review this episode as if it's its own bottled thing. Because reasonably, we don't want to go out of our way to spoil what had happened within the first episode if someone hasn't caught up to that yet. Some people might just like to just go through specific episodes, it seems, and goes back to them. It seems that we are now going to be fighting with our own self, our seemingly less scraped up, very much more beard chiseled Ash-like self, to ultimately at some points say any random things at random Ash-like times. So let's go on our way to enjoy this review. Ultimately, there might be some times where I might go or whatever. Maybe I might be able to fill in those gaps that are filled with words that make no sense. So let's go into here and let's watch this.
Tonight, on this episode, we saw Black Widow sing first off.
Yeah.
We got to see the cheetah.
Dropping it down.
Flamingo, and then Panda.
Flamingo and Panda.
All four of these were the ones who sang. Only one person got unmasked tonight. If anything, Panda, coincidentally, got unmasked tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So, really, I'm going to go right into, instead of just showcasing who all the characters are, because you can see all the characters right now, I'm going to tell you who I think, after my second thoughts in the pilot, I'm going to tell you who I think all four of these were. So...
Makes sense.
Moving on, because I want to try to get this done as quickly as possible, so you guys can so I can get this out to you as quickly as possible. Second thoughts on the pilot episode. First off, Rottweiler. My guess was Daughtry.
Good guess.
And
maybe it's right.
And at the end of the day, all three of these characters were not unmasked. So
first episode.
At the end of the day, my second guesses here are from people that are still on show. So if anything, my second thoughts are just what they are. Daughtry, on his clue, said at some point, it's not over, which, if people remember, was Daughtry's very first song. So I am cementing and 100% certified that Daughtry is the Rottweiler. I am 125% sure that it's Daughtry, and I hope he wins this season.
No.
Which will be great because, yeah, Daughtry, from what I remember, did not win American Idol, so it'd be great for him to win this season. Please, let everybody pick the Rottweiler to win this season, but who knows? I don't think that's the way it's going to go. So, my official pick now for Marie Osmond after looking at this show again. The Ladybug, I am choosing Marie Osmond. For for the Ladybug. If I, at the end of the day, I had seen a lot of behind the music kind of things for the Osmond family, and
Don't
I
lie.
remember that the Osmond family were born into TV because their mother and father both had a TV station.
That's
So
true.
easily they could get the Donnie Marie show, um, and at the end of the day, that kind of restuck in my mind to just be like, okay, this person was technically on a talk show or something like that, and I was just like, okay, well, somebody's been on TV since
Birth.
they were very, very young, so I couldn't help but think
Hmm.
it was more Marie Osmond. And then I also, like, I already knew that kind of, like, going in, but then I double checked to see how she recently sounds like. And kind of after a comparison of how the Ladybug sounds like and Marie sounds like currently, I'm like, yeah, they sound alike. So I'm cementing now that Marie Osmond is the Ladybug. I could be wrong, but at the end of the day, I hope that it could be Marie. Which in fact, her brother did really, really, did really well in the show. So
Mm-hmm.
who knows? But let's move on to my last possible pick, Garrett Morrison, who I remember from Two Broke Girls. And also, he's had a very longevous career being on Saturday Night Live. He's a very Saturday Night Live alumni. So at the end of the day, the Wild and Crazy Guys stuff and a lot of the SNL kind of references in his stuff, like I can see that it could quite possibly be Garrett Morris. At the end of the day, I know Garrett Morris is currently also doing a movie called Dolomite, because I looked through his IMDb, because I'm like, man, I know I can maybe hear this guy from IMDb, or I can hear this guy from Two Broke Girls, but I've also known him from like stuff on Saturday Night Live and stuff like that. So I'm like, maybe it could quite possibly be him. But I'm also still cementing that it still could be Martin Short. At the end of the day, I still have no clue. I could still be way off, but I still want to say it's Martin Short, but I'm also still thinking that it's Garrett Morris for some reason. Kind of keeping my bases covered, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, at the end of the day. So yeah, that's my second thoughts on the pilot episode. I won't actually tell you who got unmasked. Go and check out the very first episode so you guys can see who that is. And if anything, maybe at the very end of the episode, I will do once we reveal who the panda is tonight because she got knocked off. I will tell you as a recap who has been eliminated so far, and then maybe do my thoughts about all the people so far. So, like, I'll do like a spoiler part of it of what actually happened on the show, and then I'll get a double spoiler as a recap of what happened. So I'll give you guys a 5 count of each one of those things. So if you guys want to click off a certain time, so that way you maybe didn't see episode 1 and want to go back to it, or has seen it all so far.
When I like, this is probably the first time that I've ever really started to do Masked Singer reviews. So ultimately, when going through this, I didn't go into a real pattern or a rhythm until much later on. So ultimately, when looking at this, like me talking about, like, reasonably, I'm gonna do what I do is I spoil who had gotten unmasked by the end of this, and then ultimately I do a seasonal recap so far of how well things are going or not quite so going well for me. Ultimately, I probably say this out longer because I just don't quite understand. I didn't quite understand at this point where to exactly go in the wordages of these reviews. So ultimately, I found a pattern, I found a rhythm, and I started to enjoy it a little bit better. So let's go on.
And you want my kind of recap, kind of thoughts, dot to dot dot dot. I will do that. I will do that. So
Or we'll do it
the
anyways.
ladybug, or the ladybug. Why do I want to say the ladybug? The Black Widow. The Black Widow. So many insects in this season. So many insects the whole time. But man, are the costumes in this season really, really awesome.
Mmm. Delish.
If anything, my guess for Black Widow is honestly what kind of Ken Jeong said, that it might have been Yvette Brown. I have seen Community. I have seen Yvette Brown on Community, and she sounds freaking awesome. So I could assess that maybe Ken is on something, that the Black Widow could quite possibly be Yvette Brown. I've seen her on Talking Dead. I've seen her on Community, and I can't help but think that, yeah, she has a really good sound and whatever. Without looking at the frame of the person, without looking at the person in costume at all, I would have had to have said forcibly that this person in this costume would sound like Katy Perry, or even maybe
No.
kind of close to a maybe Carrie Underwood. But I would say probably at most, I would say like Katy Perry, from the sound of how, like, if you like, from how she's singing this song, and if you hear like E.T. from Katy Perry, it does very much sound very much similar. So I can't help but think that like it could have been Katy Perry without looking at the costume of the person. But whoever this is, man, do they sing really awesome. I freaking hope that this person goes really, really far and even maybe wins the show. Because, man, this Black Widow sounds really awesome.
Definitely.
I kind of listen to, I go on the Facebook of the Masked Singer, and they had some showcasing of the Flamingo and the Black Widow already for, like, hey, this is who could be on the show eventually.
Yeah.
And I heard Black Widow, I'm like, man, she sounds freaking lit. She sounds freaking awesome.
Lit.
Black Widow. And then the Flamingo, I'm like, man, she sounds really good too, but I have no idea what the voice could be. I have no freaking clue.
Still don't.
But yeah, so now I'm forcibly assessing who these characters are. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be a tough season. This is gonna be a hugely tough season. I think because you have a lot more female voices and whatever. The costumes, you can't really clearly tell who are male and female characters. Because really, at the end of the day, I was blown away by Cheetah. Once Cheetah started singing, I'm like, what? I'm like, wow! I'm like, this is different this season. And like the panda, I thought was like a guy, and man, was I wrong. Because at the end of the day, I couldn't tell if it was a guy or a woman when they were doing the clues. I had no clue. I couldn't tell. So this season is gonna be freaking rough. This season's gonna be rough this season.
You'll do okay.
I hope it's Yvette Brown, because at the end of the day, Yvette Brown sounds freaking awesome. And at the end of the day, I don't know who else could it really be. I would have to just throw any kind of person who's ever sang out there.
Bob Hope. Bob Hope.
The girl who sang the "Tell It to My Heart." I don't know.
Taylor Dane.
"Tell It to My Heart," like Taylor Dane or something, or Dane Taylor. Taylor Dane. I have no clue. Like, if anything, Yvette Brown really does sound very similar to this. I would assume it's Katy Perry. I have no freaking clue. So let's move on.
Katy Perry, no.
Panda. When Panda sang for the first time, I have no clue. But when they were doing the knockout round, I was like, you know what? This sounds like Layla Ali.
Layla.
In the clues, it said that she was a descendant from someone. And at the end of the day, there was a whole lot of things about talking about knockouts and stuff like that in her clues. So I was like, well, like, it's got to be an athlete, but, like, beyond, like, I was thinking maybe one of the tennis twins, but, like, but it's a fighter. It's a knockout. It's a knockout. So I'm like, well, like, I'm hoping it's not, like, a wrestler or something. I don't know. I don't know much about boxing, but I do know Layla Ali from the Celebrity Apprentice. So immediately, I was just like, well, maybe it's Layla Ali. Once they did the knockouts, I more cemented that it was Layla Ali because I could hear how she sounded. But you never know. You never know about these things. You could be way off. Ken was maybe saying Queen Latifah, and I was kind of pondering about that because I was like, but yeah, but like Queen Latifah has a much more like deeper sounding, like ooh, like kind of like yeah, like she has a deeper kind of voice than what was coming out of the Panda. So it's like, I don't know. I have no freaking clue.
Come on.
But once it came to the knockouts, like, oh yeah, knockouts, and I'm like descended to somebody. Yeah, I'm thinking Layla Ali maybe. Now that's what I was thinking. Honestly, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
The season is so freaking hard. The season is so hard. So moving on. Cheetah. Man, Cheetah was a real blow away kind of thing. At the end of the day, so many things were rattling in my mind of who Cheetah could possibly be.
So many.
I was maybe thinking Leon from The Like of Prayer Madonna video, if you guys remember that. He's also been in the Temptations behind the scenes movie.
A lot of stuff.
VH1 did with the Temptations. And his name is just Leon. I maybe thought it could have been him. But then also I was maybe thinking about the guy who ultimately sang the song What Is Love? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. I was thinking about maybe that guy. Hadaway, who sang that song. But then also I was thinking, what if it could quite possibly be Seal for some bizarre reason?
Seal the deal.
For some reason. Seal is very tall. I have no freaking clue who it could be, but I'm assuming it might be Seal. At the end of the day, I've heard Seal sing a lot of stuff besides his own Crazy and Kiss by a Rose. If anything, when Nick Cannon was talking with the cheetah or interacting with the cheetah, Nick said that he was kissed by a cheetah. And I was like, well, kissed by a rose, kissed by a cheetah.
Same thing.
Because Nick Cannon, I honestly and truly believe, probably knows who these people are, or he might not know as well. But you never know about these things, because when he's given all the stats of who these people are, you never know. You never know.
Good guesser, though.
You never know. Anyways, my guess is probably got to be Seal. I could be way off on this. I could be way off. But at the end of the day, it was awesome that freaking Cheetah was first singing it off, freaking doing some freaking Queen. Like, yeah, awesome. This is great. I was kind of like blown away about the voice. Then, like, the music choice was like, man, that was awesome. This is great. It's cool. I enjoyed it. So, hoping it's Seal. At the end of the day, let me know in the comments below who you might think it is, because I could be freaking off. Let me know who you guys think any of these characters could be, or maybe reconfirm with me who you maybe quite possibly think it is, because I have no freaking clue. Uh, the pilot episodes, I was really coming more and more to a consensus of who the people were. This episode, I'm just grasping at straws, really, in this one. I'm really grasping at straws. So, yeah, let's move on to the Flamingo, and then I believe we will go on to who was unmasked. So, warning, after we talk about the Flamingo, I'm going to do a 5 count. We'll get into spoilers of who got unmasked tonight. We'll show who got unmasked. And then I'll do another double 5, and we'll do a recap on what happened with the pilot episode and what happened tonight. And like I said, this episode is gonna be wow. I'm
Season.
like, just wait till we see more and more people and who they're gonna sound like. God, and there's so many people in this episode this season, so it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Way tougher than I thought it would be. Compared to the first season, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be tough.
Huge.
The Flamingo. From what this person sounded like, I was really having a very hard consensus on who this person was. But I had seen the show Sister Sister, which Tia and Tamara are both on when they were young, but they're still beautiful to this day. I know that one of the girls, I think, is on the Talk, or one of the talk shows. I could be completely wrong what talk show they're on, so I think it might have been the Talk, or
Doesn't matter.
Review, or something along those lines.
I think it's the Talk.
I've seen so many freaking talk shows with a group of gals, whatever. Yeah. I know the girls. I believe both the girls did sing at some point. Probably maybe through Broadway and stuff like that. So if they probably came on here, I know they could probably sing. So at the end of the day, I think Robin Thicke did come up with the guess of that, and I was like, yeah, like I was throwing all kinds of wild cards, maybe thinking it's maybe one of the Destiny's Child girls. But then, like, what Robin Thicke said kind of really reassessed, because I saw the show Sister Sister, so I'm like, maybe he's got something there. And I'm like, yeah, so, like, I was like, well, I guess it might be Tia and Tamara. Like, I guess it could be. It would be nice. But, so my guess would be right. But at the end of the day, you never know. Like I said, it could have been one of the Destiny's Children's, or it could be a Sister Sister. Who knows? It could be a Sister Sister. So, we are now going to move on and do Who Got Unmasked tonight, and tell you how I felt about it, because Panda got unmasked. Black Widow first is the Cheetah was the first one up. Black Widow was freaking awesome, and Cheetah was just like a shocker, and I was like, this Cheetah's really good. And so Cheetah got to the knockout round, and then it was Flamingo, and it was Panda. Panda went up first, and then I think Flamingo was last. And Panda got knocked out, and I was like, yeah, it's going to be some stiff competition this year. Whoever gets knocked out is going to be, clearly.
Dead.
Clearly, it's going to be a tough thing this year. Like, people just can't skate by this year. if they're just normal, common celebrities, they're going to probably get knocked out right away, competing with these like Whitney Houston like singers, or these blowout singers that can sing really freaking well, like Daughtry and everybody else. So yeah, it's going to be tough for like just normal celebrities this year who aren't professional singers or had done Broadway or something. So yeah, we are going to unmask Panda in 5, 4, 3,
Count faster.
2,
Do it.
1.
Pull the
We're
trigger.
gonna unmask Panda. If you guys haven't seen season 2, episode 2, and you don't want to know who Panda is just yet,
Spoiler time.
and hit it on Hulu.
Spoiler
or if you
time.
just want to know anyways, now is the time.
It's about the time again to spoil the show.
Layla Ali was Panda.
Layla.
If anything, like I said, probably for Panda, and really,
This is a bad picture of Layla, but this was the only picture at the time I could get. I also want to apologize for otherwise kind of poor graphics during some of these kinds of variations of some stuff. I think some of the stuff, or most of the stuff that I recorded probably during this time was probably on a phone, and eventually I upgraded to a tablet, and maybe that might be barely quasi any little inkling of better. But yeah, so ultimately, yeah, for any reason, for anything that happens to where this video doesn't look that great, I do apologize, but otherwise it's just the way I forcibly have to do things for aspects of just way of which that we go about things. So, Layla Lee, yeah, ultimately we easily made a consensus of this. Hopefully, people liked this episode because ultimately I really enjoyed it when going into this one because ultimately there was a lot of big stars that came out of the woodwork and were like, man, these people are amazing, and they were just common people that most of the time would just be actor people. They wouldn't sing very often. So very interesting to see people coming out of the woodwork and blow you away. Anyways, but let's move on.
again, it's not like I cheated and was like, oh, I came up with these things after, and it's like, I'm going to put the right ones. Yeah.
Makes
If
sense.
anything, in the first episode, who got unmasked, in the pilot episode, I'm like, yeah, I'm way freaking off. I was wrong on both the people that got unmasked.
Mm-hmm.
This episode, I was actually correct, and I was like, oh, thank God. So I'm not as like stupid as I thought I was for one episode, finally. But who knows? The more and more we're able to hear these people sing, the more that we can really get a real consensus of who these people are. Layla Ali, the first time I heard her singing, I had no clue who that was because the way that thing was sung, like there's no real way to tell who this was. But in the knockout rounds, it sounded much more like you could hear her much better. And I'm like, yeah, this sounds like Layla Ali because I watch her on Celebrity Apprentice, and I'm like, yeah, and I have heard her do interviews and podcasts and all kinds of stuff because Layla Ali is a great ambassador for boxing and a lot of other stuff. So at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, Layla Ali, freaking yeah, she's a freaking awesome. Like she's freaking awesome. Like freaking her body of work along with her body. Yeah. But yeah.
You goober.
Yeah, just yeah. Layla Ali, freaking six-pack, six-pack lady.
Yeah.
All around, whatever. Layla Lee got unmasked tonight for the Masked Singer, and
You getting her
really,
number?
at the end of the day, it's good to see Layla getting out there and doing some singing. And yeah, like I would have like the sad thing about some of these things, it would have been nice to see these people get some more songs under their belt. Like
Definitely.
it would be great to just see like maybe what some of the other people who got knocked off in the pilot. It would be great to see what Layla could do singing wise for more of the episodes if they would have stayed. It's just a shame. It's just a shame whoever gets knocked out on this episode because this season is stacked. I can't say that enough. This season is going to be way better than the first one because at the end of the day, like in the first season, like I could automatically guess who the people were, and I was right most of the time. But this season, it's just like grabbing straws and trying to figure out who they are. And I try to avoid trying to really Google and search things out. I really have to go by what I have in this noggin because I really don't want to try and say by who other people thought that this was. Like I heard Adrian Belair from Kim Kardashian show to be the Flamingo, but I'm like like I don't know enough about her to really assess that.
Let's rephrase that. The girl that I just mentioned, she's a Cheetah Girl. Ultimately, she currently at the second recording, she's very much known for doing even Ken Jeong's can I hear your voice or can I see your voice or something like that, which ultimately wasn't on during, of course, the time of this recording. But yeah, so Adrian, and also Layla, as bizarrely I was hitting on Layla for some bizarre effing reason, with a goofy photo of her being displayed. Which again, I apologize, but there's so many rare images that you can find to otherwise showcase things. So, anyways, moving on.
And at the end of the day, again, I want to really say who I feel it is without any kind of outside Google sources.
We'll do that later.
So please know that I'm not trying to deep down dive into figuring out who these people are by Google searching or whatever.
We'll Google
I've
later.
amassed so much knowledge over time of just random things that I can, through my head, really consense who they are, and I will always be upfront and honest about where I got information from or something like that. So know that I am not going to try and cheat on this
No.
season.
No cheating.
Yeah, I'm not going to try and cheat in this season. It's not going to happen. But if anything, Google is a very reliable source. It is. But at the end of the day, I have so much knowledge in this head. I have so much knowledge in this head. So much ridiculous knowledge.
Knowledge.
That I have for just random things. So, alright. We are going to do a double 5 count. We're going to do a 5 count now. And we are going to do a episode 1 recap, and we're going to talk about episode 2 and kind of compare the two, and kind of like re-say like who it was, who won the pilot. If you missed the pilot and you don't care and you want to hear what's going on, or you just want a reminder of who got eliminated and you want me to talk about the first episode and the second episode, stick with us here. If you've seen the whole episode so far, blah 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 blah. So 5, 4,
Season recap
3,
coming at you.
2.
Hot and
If you
heavy.
haven't seen the pilot episode, go and check it out.
Do it.
The performances were really awesome.
Do it now.
I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of good song choices in that first episode.
Do it again.
So yeah, now
Just do it.
we are going to be recapping the first and second episode. If you don't want to hear what goes on in the pilot episode because you didn't see it,
Spoilers.
now's the time to click off. But if you saw my review for the first episode and you saw this,
Do it.
you can get a consensus on what is going on.
Pull that trigger.
So, the pilot episode. There was 2 unmasked singers because it was 2 hours long. The people, the characters who got eliminated were, of course, the ice cream and the egg. If you don't know who those people were, again, now might be a time to click off.
Now.
Because I'm going to say who they are right now.
Maybe not right now.
The ice cream was Ninja.
Ninja.
A famous YouTuber, mix player, or mixer gamer.
Fortniter.
Because he left Twitch to go to Mixer. I forgot about that on the first pilot episode. He's a legendary Fortnite player. What better way to get a lot of traction to...
I watched a lot of Ninja's stuff after probably watching this video. I actually subscribed to his channel. I watch a lot of his content because a lot of it is really fun. I probably would never really go out of my way to play Fortnite because ultimately there's probably been people that have been playing that since day one. I am awful at it, and I know I would be. Ultimately, I think I tried to play some kind of Fortnite, but looking at him, like, I am so outclassed. So ultimately, when watching Ninja, ultimately knowing how like hilarious that his videos are, but then also how like basically he is easily beating people in Fortnite, that's where I kind of draw the line and just going like, yeah, I'm gonna be like a mincemeat for Ninja. So ultimately, why would I even try to play this thing called Fortnite?
The show by having a legendary Fortnite player. Really smart on their part to get somebody who is a legendary Fortnite player to get some ratings boosts for this season. Ninja, for his first song, sounded really, really awesome.
Top shelf.
I loved when he did, for his knockout song, he did Devo. I was like, yeah, that's freaking awesome. That was awesome.
Whip it.
And the egg, of course, was Johnny Weir. Of course, famous ice skater, really great commentator. He brings a lot of energy to the commentary booth. From what I've seen from figure skating, I said ice skating before. He's a figure skater.
Olympics.
Yeah. Johnny Weir did the Lady Gaga song. It was like, yeah, it was a pretty good choice. And then, of course, he did another thing in the knockouts, which I don't remember at this point now, but from what I remember, like, I don't know, I think, like, from what Johnny was bringing to the table, it was pretty decent, but like, if anything, it was great that he was saying afterwards, like, man, like, really appreciate the people that do, like, choreography and singing and stuff like that, and, like, Ninja was saying, yeah, I never thought I would do anything like this, but it was so enjoyable. Like, at the end of the day, he was talking about, like anybody who could have never thought that they could have done something like this, like, just keep your hopes up and it'll happen kind of thing. Talking about, like, streamers and stuff like that would never think that they would do something like this. But yeah. If anyways, one thing that I'm also, like,
Bar's now set.
knocking around with is, maybe, I doubt it, but I'm also thinking that Flamingo could quite possibly be Lillian Singh, the YouTuber.
No.
But at the end of the day,
don't do it.
Because it sounds like something that she was talking about YouTubing. But I think Lily right now is way too busy with her YouTube channel and
New show.
her late night talk show that I don't
Mm-hmm.
think she has time to do the Masked Singer on top of that. But I'm thinking it's probably still one of the sister girls. I just don't know. I could be way off. At the end of the day, we now have it recorded that I had made this assessment, but I could be wrong. So, yeah. Recapping of the pilot of episode 2, and at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I can't say it enough. This show is stacked. Man, what great talent coming out of this show. If anything, in the first season, I remember maybe just being blown away by maybe one or two people. Like the lion was just like, man, freaking. The lion was freaking awesome. The lion was awesome. I remember just like, man, that's got to be maybe like Christina Aguilera. It's got to be somebody really freaking awesome.
Christina.
Actually, eventually was. If you guys never saw the first season, go and check it out. Because the lion was freaking awesome. But if you know who the lion was, that was a surprise who it eventually was. But at the end of the day, I heard so many things, I saw so many things with that person as the lion. So ultimately, I was like, I know, afterwards, I'm like, but I never put that together. I never put that together on the show.
Never.
Like Christina Aguilera, and I was wrong.
Or maybe I wasn't.
I was thinking of some big head honcho singer that just wanted to be on the show, but yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna call this wrap so I can get this out as quickly as possible. Goodbye, everybody. Bye, everybody.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Because I'm going to get out of here as well. This review is probably over 40-some-odd minutes. I apologize for how long it is, and ultimately for probably how long these reviews tend to really go. Because ultimately, I was still kind of figuring out the pattern of which to go into these kind of reviews, because ultimately I was just getting my beak wet trying to figure out how to ultimately break these down. And once I ultimately could figure out my wordages and stuff that I can transition to, and ultimately tell you how I'm going to break down each episode, it becomes a lot easier. So ultimately, through the first kind of early episodes, I'm kind of stumbling, but then eventually I will get my much more rhythm, even though sometimes some episodes might be longer than others. So at the end of the day, bye everybody. Bye everybody.